Twitch says the title's invalid. Don't know what that means, but I think we're live, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So we are live. Welcome to the first official live episode of the Sportsbook Junkies Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, also known as the Nick Stop, and I'm joined today by Kev and Nathan. If you guys want to give yourself a little introduction, feel more than free.
What's up? Yeah, I'm Kev. You can find me on this channel right here, Bite Size Sports, on Thursdays, talking NBA and college hoops with Keebler over there at 9 p.m. Eastern with our good friend James. And I also talk Colts on the Horseshoe Huddle podcast and right here on Bite Size Colts. That is about it. Follow me on Twitter at @KevNevic_ for all the rest. I'll spare you for now.
And I'm Nathan with fun technical issues again, just a delight to have constantly. So obviously you can't see my beautiful face here, but I when I don't have technical issues, I do bite-sized bears and a little bit of this and a little bit of that here and there and everywhere else.
Perfect. So before we start, the first thing I want to run down is in the description. If you're interested, Caesars is currently running a new user promotion. For if you bet $50, you get $250 back in bonus bets, regardless of if your bet wins or not. If you want to join that, my invite link is down below. So I figure we'll just get right into it. I wanted to start a little earlier today to get these picks out beforehand. But I had a little bit of a situation happen, so we're here now. So for the games on right now for Monday Night Football, my main parlay is the Saints money line and the Steelers money line, and that's $88 to turn into about $300. I liked before the game how the Saints didn't have a great first week, expecting a big bounce back this week. But right now, as we can see, it's a field goal competition. And then for the Browns game, I have the Steelers money line because they're at home. My two main reasonings for that was because the Steelers haven't lost a home Monday Night Football game since 1991 against my Giants. And they also haven't lost to the Browns at home in 20 years. So right now, the score of that game is 11-7. Still in the second quarter, plenty of time left. But those were my main two picks. Did you guys have any bets on the games or no?
Yeah, I had like a nice little parlay of some player props and over-unders, and I in the Saints-Panthers game, I kind of hedged it a little bit and dropped the over-under to 30.5 and took the over, and the way things are going, nobody can score, so it looks like I may end up screwed anyway. So, I did a decent little parlay because there was a 50% boost. I just figured I'd kind of water stuff down a little bit. I definitely got, before his unfortunate injury here or whatever it'll be, I got Chubb's 50 yards plus on the ground. So that's nice. I hope he ends up being okay. But nobody in the nobody in the Saints Panthers game wants to score a touchdown. So I may end up getting screwed there.
And do you primarily use DraftKings or what do you use?
I got rid of DraftKings. I had FanDuel and Caesars, but for some reason I can't make any downloads on Caesars, and they can't seem to tell me why. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say that's my main app. I always go Caesars because DraftKings and I had a good relationship going, and then all of a sudden we didn't after I got my security code to my credit card wrong one time. So that's basically it. Kev, how about you? Do you have any bets tonight? Do you have any planned?
I have no bets as of yet. I actually shout out Wade here in the chat. He and I just got off of a live stream. We were doing an interview for the main event in our upcoming pay-per-view. We've got a kickboxing pay-per-view here at the end of the month on Carnage Fight Series, so go check it out. But I plan on trying to make some bets here so as we are going live, I've got my phone queued up and ready. It's interesting to hear you guys talk about it because I still have some of my initial, those deposit bonuses. So I still have FanDuel and DraftKings. I tend to go mainly FanDuel. But I'll probably hop in and play both. I'm a big fan of some in-game parlays, like especially in these Monday night situations. If there's maybe not some fantasy implications for me or no other real reason for me to care, I'll start to play like some second half in-game parlays or something like that. But it sounds like we might have a couple of snooze fests on our hands as far as these Monday night games go. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to see what unders I can hammer.
Perfect. Yeah, no, Justin Herbert. Yeah, that's probably where the correlation comes. The Knicks were good last year, but Caesars I consider the lowest of the three, but they have the best rewards program, so that's what I'm mainly building up for. But
I gotta ask, who scored that touchdown for the Browns?
I know it was a passing touchdown from Deshaun to Jay Ford.
Okay, well, I had Deshaun Watson 1 touchdown, so at least that hit.
You didn't have Jay Ford anytime touchdown scored?
No.
No, I bet that would have cashed big.
Well, speaking of some big hits, I know this wasn't on our rundown here, but FanDuel on Sunday, in the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games, they had a red zone special where each team kicks a field goal in every game, and it was like plus 20,000, and it ended up hitting. And I saw some pretty wild tickets, to say the least, earlier on the Twitter and on Reddit. So, there was some wild action this weekend.
Also, I just want to say to anyone in chat, feel free to drop questions or comments at any time. Just in case, you don't know that much about betting, you want to learn more, you don't know what something means, just feel free to drop a comment and then we'll get right to it. That being said, I'm looking at the game right now between the Saints and the Panthers, and I would give the slight edge to the Saints. So if you're gonna live bet, now is probably the time to do it. It's about halfway through the third quarter, tie ball game. The Saints offense is a little more higher powered. I would go with the money line on that. I'm probably going to do that myself, so that's why I'm giving that suggestion. But we can move on to games that aren't on, and move to this week's Thursday night football game between the Giants and the 49ers. Oh, boy. Saquon out. Keep in mind, me saying this, I'm a Giants fan, so do with my word what you will. I'm not being biased at all here. The spread's 10.5.
I'm hammering that spread for the Niners every day.
Minus 10.5. Without Saquon, our offense becomes very one-dimensional. We saw yesterday that Daniel Jones can put on a second-half masterclass if he wants to, but without Saquon as the focal point of that offense, which would free up room for our receivers, we're going to get absolutely shut down by the 49ers pass defense. That being said, I wouldn't go money line. I feel like if the Giants do somehow pull it off, it's really bad value. I think the last time I checked, the 49ers were minus 550. I'm going to share my screen right now, actually, and then go here. So you guys can see this all right?
Still loading on my end.
Okay. Let me know when that loads.
Herbert, be careful, man. Nate once confidently bet me a shoey, and we have the footage for the result. If you ever go check that out. Here we go. I can see it now. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit just so you can see it a little better. Oh, shit. That's a lot more. Okay.
Enhance.
All right. So you take a look here. So you have the Giants and 49ers right here. Giants are underdogs at plus 400. 49ers are the favorites at minus 550. Again, that's too heavy of a money line for me to personally want to gravitate towards, just because minus 550, for anyone who doesn't know, you have to bet $550 to make $100. But on the flip side, for the Giants, to make $400, you have to bet $100. If anyone's confused about that, just let me know in the chat. But the over-under is 45. I would assume that would go over because the 49ers will probably drop 45 on their own. But I would go right here to the minus 10.5 and hammer that 49ers spread. Do you guys have any thoughts on that game?
I've got some thoughts here. Before I say my thoughts, I just want to be clear to everybody, please gamble responsibly. And if you feel like you're having some issues, take a break, please. But anyway, and if I had to pick something out there for the Giants-Niners game, I would probably end up doing a parlay there. I would definitely do, take Niners and the points there. I would probably add a McCaffrey touchdown and, go deep in here. And depending on, how the lineup's going to be, but I would potentially take some Eli Mitchell props potentially. Because I think with the way I think that the game is going to go, especially with it being a home game for the Niners, Mitchell should get some time in the second half there. But with the way the offense is clicking, I mean, I feel like it's pretty safe to definitely lay it down on either an Ayuk or a McCaffrey touchdown.
Got you. Also, Justin Herbert, to answer your question, I'm a Knicks fan because I'm from New York, born and raised. So, Knicks, Mets, Giants, Rangers are my 4 teams. You would think it'd be Yankees, but we don't talk about that. Nate, I think that's a solid parlay. If I were to think about this early, I'd probably every game I go CMC touchdown. It's just basically a lock. The way that what was I going to say?
Well, I would say the
way the defensive line for the Giants has performed has been very underwhelming. Dexter Lawrence has been getting pushed around by Zach Martin, getting double teamed by the Cardinals. So maybe not on the inside, but I would definitely expect him to get one on the outside. Plus, he's a receiving back, so that doubles him up for more touches. Like Nate said, I would go Eli Mitchell. I was thinking that exact thing because they'll probably start sitting McCaffrey early in the third quarter because the game's going to be a blowout. Aside from that, I like Debo yards. Our secondary has been kind of torched through the first 2 games. So I would lean on Debo yards. If you want to throw in Danny Dimes rushing yards, you could probably touch that a little bit. Somewhere around like the 30 mark is where I would go. But that's just where I would lean on that game. Kev, do you have any thoughts?
I'm right. That was a perfect segue because the one thing I was going to add is those Danny Dimes running yards. If that's something I'm over. I took a stab, we'll say, because I'm not actively watching this Saints game, but I just threw a couple bucks on Carr throwing for 50+ yards in the third quarter. I love those. I love looking at those. Sometimes more than looking at a spread or a money line or over-unders is something that I do like to play. But, yeah, as far as like a little prop on the side, I think Daniel Jones getting some running yards would be good. What do you guys – did you talk about the over-under? I might have missed it. How do you feel about – I'm thinking that
the over
hits the over, right?
I said I would just lean the over because the 49ers will probably put up 45 on their own.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that's what I was wondering. Is it get to a point where they just let off the gas and we don't hit 45?
I don't think so.
Because it's just not a game, and you think it's going to be enough in the first half?
Even if they take out Brock Purdy, I feel like Darnold's just going to be like, I'm here. Like, I'm not going to have this chance.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to be like a a 31-6 type of game here. I mean, this, I just think that the Niners, in the second half, once they start taking care of business in the first, they'll kind of just, hold back the playbook a little bit there for further down the road and, run some conservative offense there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, Justin Herbert, I've been doing these podcasts with them for a little bit now, and I couldn't find the right Knicks merch to wear, right? Finally found a good one.
That is
And
nice.
It's like a red, white, and blue Knicks thing that I got for Christmas like 4 or 5 years ago, and it still fits somehow, even though I gained like 40 pounds. But I like it a lot.
Not to
That's
switch
what's
it
up.
up here, but like looking at the comments in the chat here, which thanks for everybody joining us. I
Yes.
feel like we got to get, Bite Size Vikes and Justin Herbert in the octagon with old Kev calling it there.
I can. I'm getting okay at that nowadays. But yeah,
Oh.
they got a rivalry this week with the Vikings Chargers, right?
What'd you say?
Next week. Those two are going at it, right? Chargers, Vikings.
Yep.
Mike says everyone slam the over. Good God. Yeah. Yeah. I heard a some sort of AFC official who's definitely not Acho, who said that Justin Herbert is not elite quarterback, by the way, guys. He doesn't know how to read a defense. I gotta look into this, but I found that out today.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Justin Herbert has a lot of upside. He just hasn't shown too much. Also, touchdown Saints right here on 1st and goal, I think.
What was it? Who was it to? Was it a rush or a touch or a pass?
It was a rush to
I agree with that.
34.
Social media quarterback. There it is.
Yeah, no, that's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a YouTube quarterback. Sorry to Nate.
Oh man, when I'm able to record my bite-sized bears this week, I mean it is not going to be very pleasant in any form or fashion to anyone.
Oh yeah, no, I forget who said that. Was it what's his name? Colin Cowherd said that Justin Fields is a YouTube quarterback. I think that's one of the funniest lines ever, just for no reason. But the Saints take a 13-6 lead, so hopefully you guys did listen to me saying hammer that Saints money line while it was 6-6. But
I did.
On the flip side, the Steelers are only 1 point down now. They kicked a field goal, so now that score is 11-10. So we're gonna hope on that money line for sure. But to move on, I was gonna cut it to MLB, but while we're on the topic of NFL, do we want to give some like early Sunday picks for week 3?
Yeah, I'd be down, and also just to like throw a loop in it here, maybe, near the end of the show, we can go on down on your screen here to motorsports and I give you some NASCAR picks later. Hey, Kevin laughs, but I've hit like a $1,300 parlay, and then I hit a $2,400 parlay one time. So you can make some money in auto racing
for sure. I want to bet on F1. I feel like taking Verstappen to win every race is a pretty solid one. Not like do it individually, not like at the beginning of the season, will Verstappen win every race? Don't do that, but like individually, just go Verstappen and you'll hit it like 9 out of 10 times.
I was going to say, because Red Bull didn't even podium this weekend.
Oh, really?
At Singapore, yeah. No, Carlos Sainz from Ferrari won, and then Hamilton and Lance Norris were on the podium. So McLaren and Mercedes. Yeah, no, Red Bull didn't have a very good race this weekend for what they've been doing all year.
Hamilton back in the mix. I know when I was watching F1 about a year ago, he wasn't really doing anything just because, they weren't able to spend too much money on the car. So obviously Red Bull dominates in that regard. But whatchamacallit. It's nice to see Hamilton, one of the GOATs of F1, like back in the mix. That's what I was trying to say.
Right. So, but yeah, like I think there are some pretty interesting matchups this Sunday.
Yep.
If you want to scroll down a little bit on your screen there.
Let me do that. That's a perfect idea. So yeah, we can start with the Broncos Miami. I think Miami money line's very free in that regard. I like what I'm seeing a lot with Miami this year. Even though Tyreek didn't have a big game yesterday, I still made money off of them taking their money line. I had 110 on that, I think, to make like 70 something. I can pretty confidently say that I would take the Dolphins -6.5 here. The Broncos defense hasn't looked good. They have good pieces on their defense, like Surtain, like Simmons, that can get the job done. But at the same time, that Miami offense is just too high powered, in my opinion.
I agree on this. You know, give some points back to the sports books there. I think Denver's going to come out a little bit better here than they did in the second half against the Commanders. I don't, I Waddle is being treated for a concussion or being evaluated for a concussion.
Yep. That was a nasty hit too. I don't know.
Yeah. So, it'll be real interesting to see how his week of practice will be there. But it'll be, again, it'll be real interesting to see. But I would be more comfortable probably taking Miami at like -3.5 in that range.
Yep, I like that a lot too. That's definitely more of like obviously you'll get worse odds on it because it's more likely. Also, I don't know what kind of ball Bryce Young just threw to Adam Thielen. But aside from that, I agree. Kev, do you have any thoughts on that?
I like Nate's idea to give a few points back. I definitely like Miami here. Denver, what was it? A Hail Mary, almost got him to tie Washington this week. So new coach, better offense, same result so far. So I would take Miami, although I am really hoping to see more from Tyreek Hill because it might have made you money last night, Keebler, but it cost me money. Damn it! So, come on, man.
I also had him in a parlay to get over 50 yards, and he finished with like 40. But that was a small parlay. It was like a $4 lottery parlay with Zeke to score a touchdown in it too. So it was just like one of those fun ones where it's like, oh, this can happen, and I can turn $4 into like 170.
That's where that whole narrative technique can really get you into trouble. We talk about that sometime on Trevor's show too, on Rumbles of Red, where it's like, all right, we're to build this daily lineup for today. We're gonna have to tell it. We're gonna have to have a little narrative. We're gonna have to tell a little story. And sometimes you can maybe get too creative, but that's why those are flyers, right? That's why you just throw a few bucks down on something like that. Because then if you hit, hell yeah. But no, I don't know about any in-game stuff as far as the prop bets. But yeah, give me Miami, and I don't know. Maybe I would take the under on this one.
John's asking what happened to Nick Chubb. You can probably find a clip on it on Twitter, but his leg got demolished, so he's going to be out for a little bit of time. Yeah.
Oof.
But,
what's up, Michael? Appreciate you.
How you doing, Michael? But yeah, no, I think we can move to the next game, which is going to be another divisional game for the Patriots, but this time going against the Jets, and they're favored by 3 on the road, which is very surprising to me.
Even with the stupidity of Zach Wilson under center there, I'm gonna take the Jets as a betting underdog just because I think that Jets defense will have a nice bounce back week, and going from Dak and CD and Tony Pollard and all their weapons to Mac Jones and Ramondre is pretty good, but their receiving core is ass. So, I would be okay with taking the Jets as the underdog in this one, money line.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. I think that holds really good value, especially against a Patriots offense that we've seen that isn't high powered at all. You have Hunter Henry, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, scored one of the only touchdowns yesterday, and I feel like that's their wide receiver one. So
Basically.
if you take that into consideration against a Jets defense that has Sauce Gardner on your wide receiver one, where else are you going to go? You have Gesicki, but Gesicki's not going to do much. I mean, maybe he'll go up the seams one time and you can get a lucky dot to him, but what else are you going to do in that case? I personally hate Zach Wilson. I mean, it's kind of shocking because my name's Zach, so you think I'd like him, but yeah, I'm not a fan of Zach Wilson in the slightest, but I'm also not a fan of Mac Jones either.
It's hard to be.
Also, the Steelers took the lead. Let's go, baby. Go for the 2-point conversion, please. Anyway, sorry, not to get sidetracked.
I'm with you guys on this one though. Money line Jets has some good looking odds there. My brain tells me like I have this voice in the back of my head that's like, yeah, but it's Belichick and it's the Jets, so so I'm a little hesitant. For some reason there's part of me that thinks this would be a game that the Patriots would win, but the Jets. Before talk about things snapping, before old Aaron Rodgers had his Achilles snap, we thought this was going to be a really good team. Still a lot of really good players on that roster, so I think this would be this would be the play that I would make. Yeah, I'm good with that money line pick.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. The Jets, with arguably a top 3 defense in the league, being an underdog to a very underwhelming Patriots offense. That is my takeaway from that game. I'd probably lean on the 37 is weird. That's a very weird over-under.
Right.
I mean, it's weird, but it makes sense for what the teams are, especially with no Aaron Rodgers there. I mean, because I think I would have to look it up, or somebody would have to look it up, but I think they had a real low-scoring game last year, and if Zach Wilson had been like 10%, actual quarterback skill in that game, I think the Jets would have won. But maybe I'm misremembering. But Jets had a game last year where their defense dominated and they still lost by like a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah, no, but we also, on the flip side, it was like 6-3. I think I remember that game too, Mac. I'm just gonna pull it up so everyone can see it. I remember that too, but we saw yesterday that Zach Wilson can still throw a deep ball. It might take him 27 tries, but like he'll get it. He'll get one down there.
Yeah, but is he going to toss 4 interceptions to Christian Gonzalez though?
Probably not. No, I think a lot of that passing game. I think it's going to be a very run-heavy game too, especially because of the comments that Brees gave out yesterday, where he was asked, he was like, "Why did you guys struggle?" And he was like, "I only touched the ball like 4 times." That's a bit of a locker room cancer right there to say that. You could have just been like, "We didn't play a good game. We're going to bounce back next week." And I think that'd be a much better response than being egotistical and saying like, "Yeah, I only got the ball 4 times." Like, it's just not how you go about that situation. But I like Dalvin Cook there too in that case. If Brees isn't getting it going, possibly giving Dalvin a few handoffs, I think that would benefit them, especially if Zach Wilson's not looking right too. You just give it to that veteran back that you just got this offseason, and going that route.
Yeah, I agree. Those Brees comments are a little concerning, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's why you went and took a chance on Dalvin Cook. So yeah, it's weird. They've got some backs there. You would think they'd be able to just run all over folks. So we'll see. Definitely, I think I would take the under for that. As much as it's, I would probably just avoid it, to be honest. Like you said, at 37, it's just kind of a weird one, but
yeah,
I could see this being like a 19-13 game.
Yeah, but this is also a good segue because now we're going to talk about the Colts and the Ravens. So I'm going to let you take this one, Kev, if you want it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The Colts are plus 7.5, plus 300. What are we thinking on that?
Plus 7.5, plus 300. So look, here's a good opportunity for me to prove to all of you that I'm not a Colts homer and that I'm not going to just say stupid things for the sake of my home team. Chances are Anthony Richardson's not going to play, which is a bummer to just about everyone to not see him go up against Lamar. Gardner Minshew, for what it's worth, was 19 for 23 in a fill-in role, but he kind of plays this is a bit of a throwback. This will show my age, but he kind of plays more of a Chad Pennington game. You know, everything's he's not really throwing the ball deep. He's just kind of hitting slant routes, hitting short little quick passes. So between that and an improved Zach Moss, I think the Colts will hang in there. But I mean, I don't know. I might take them to beat the spread. 7.5 is tempting to me. There's no way they win this game. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because the Colts defense has been pretty good. Now, they have a good with DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart up front. They're averaging about 4 sacks a game. They had 6 last week. But their defensive backfield is just atrocious. Maybe Juju Brents, the rookie, if he actually plays this week, that could provide some help there. But this is a team, they have to get to the quarterback, and if they don't, Lamar Jackson is going to have the ability to roll out and burn them deep potentially. So I think the Raven. I mean, I don't know. I might get clever and take the Colts to cover the spread, but I'm not super confident in it. I would put most of my money. I would aim it towards Ravens specific bets. That's just sort of my take, guys. But I'm also admittedly a pessimistic fan. I'll be the last one to be like, okay, we're finally good. You know, it's taken like 6 months for Cubs fans to get me to watch the team again.
So with two
right.
things here. One, has there been any status updates on Anthony Richardson?
Most likely going to be out because of concussion protocol.
Okay, because then I'm definitely taking the Ravens with the points there. But with Kevin being a pessimistic fan, just to switch up football here a little bit, give us a prediction for the Saturday night tussle in South Bend this weekend.
Oh, good God. I actually have not got to watch either of these teams play. Nate and I have done a little trilogy of podcasts called The Death of College Football, and you can kind of garner what my feelings are about the sport just based on that. I love Notre Dame. This will be the first game of the year that I watch, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I have been burned too many times in recent years by people telling me a Notre Dame team is good. And then them not being once they play a good team. So I don't know what the spread is, but I'd take Ohio State probably with points, even though it's at South Bend. And I hate to do that, but.
Just to touch my opinion on that, I'm hooking my trains to the lustrous hair of Sam Hartman and have Notre Dame comfortably win. I watched, things can improve throughout the year. Don't get me wrong, but I did watch the Buckeyes against IU. IU's got a good defense, but the Buckeyes offense, seemed to misfire a good chunk during the game, whether that was due to play calling or something else, but they did not look good against them, or in my opinion they did not look good against Youngstown State either. They did have a bounce back game against the Hilltoppers last weekend, but I still feel comfortable with taking the experienced quarterback with Notre Dame and taking the points as well.
Don't do that, Nate. Don't give me hope.
Yeah, I don't really watch college football, so I can't give my opinion on that. But what I can give my opinion on is that Colts-Ravens game. Just to circle back to that just a little bit, I think Lamar is going to have a big running game that we haven't seen this year. The Colts, outside of DeForest Buckner, and who's next to him on that line?
Grover Stewart.
Yep. Both of them are great forces. Outside of that, you have McDonald's workers working on that line. So I think as long as they keep it from going up the middle and then go try to play more of like that outside running game, going out of the pocket and then making your move, I think we're going to see a running game from Lamar that we haven't seen quite this year. Their play caller has been more of a traditional play caller for Lamar this year in terms of passing the ball, trying to turn him more into a passing quarterback because we know that running quarterbacks don't last. But I like Lamar on the over on whatever his rushing yards are going to be. And I would probably, sorry, Kev, go with the Ravens -7.5 for value. They've been playing good, but their one matchup was against the Texans. So we don't really know how they're going to shape up against one of the top teams in that AFC North.
Yep.
But that's just where I would go with it.
It's not a wrong look. I mean, it'll probably look more for the Colts like Week 1 did when they played the Jaguars very well for 3.5 quarters, and then things got away from them, and that was a 10-point game. So, smart money is probably all on the Ravens here. Like I said, if you want to get cute, maybe this Colts team can hang around if the spread gets if the spread widens a little bit after the AR news is official. Maybe then you come back and look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got Nick in here. I don't know how long he's going to be in here. The next game we got on this list is the Bills and Commanders with the Bills -6.5. I personally like what I've seen out of Sam Howell this year. I think that he's been very solid, especially with that comeback from yesterday against the Broncos. His card value, I know a lot of people in here from the sports card community. They know that he has a lot of hype around him. His cards are going for a little bit because of that. But with that being said, I would probably go – I mean, it's weird because the Bills are -300 basically. So I would probably – I don't know. The Bills had a good game against the Raiders. The Raiders aren't that great of a team, even though they have great pieces inside that offense like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. But once you get to that one-dimensional point, teams are going to read you like a book. And that's what the Bills showed yesterday. That being said, I would probably go Bills money line, but I wouldn't take that straight up. I would probably throw it in a parlay. I'm not going to take the hype over the Commanders comeback just quite yet. If they can consistently do that for a couple more games, maybe I'll start to be like, okay. But I wouldn't touch that 6.5. I would probably take Commanders 6.5, but I would take the Bills money line. That's about where I'm at. Nate, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oops, I forgot to unmute myself. I'm pretty much on the same boat there as well. And, I just want to drop one of my famous hot takes here and say that Josh Allen is the most overrated quarterback in the league. And honestly, with the way the team is, Buffalo has no business going past the wild card weekend this year.
I can get on board with that. In the first game of the year, you saw him throw 3 picks. I like poking fun at Nick a little bit because Daniel Jones led the league with 2 interceptions for about 24 hours, and then Josh Allen came in and swooped that title right back. But yeah, no, I gave my hot take. I forget who I said it to. But after this season, we may not see Josh Allen being that top 5 quarterback. I think we're going to see him closer to that 10 range. With the way the league's moving, I think T-Law can be above that with the offense he's in. I
wouldn't even put him in my top 5. I wouldn't even put him in my top 5 right now, to be honest with you.
Who's your top 5 right now?
In no particular order, my top 5 would be Mahomes. I would also include Trevor Lawrence there. I would go Lamar as well. I actually think Justin Herbert is a better QB than Josh Allen. So I had to go 4 there. And if I had to pick a 5th, I don't know why I'm blanking right now.
Nate's necessary roughness pass has been revoked, dude.
I, I definitely would take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen, even with the struggles at the beginning of the year.
He hasn't been healthy. That's not. I mean, I'm not giving a pass to Burrow, but like he has been hurt to start this year. I would very comfortably right now take Burrow, Mahomes, and Hurts above Allen. I think Herbert is a bit of a hot take on that. We haven't really seen that great from Justin Herbert yet either. But I think T-Law has the potential to definitely overtake Josh Allen by the end of this season if the interception and bad reads by Josh Allen continue. Drink every time Josh Allen tries to jump over someone he shouldn't try to jump over.
See, and to be
and
fair,
now comes
like,
the Bears hatred. Yeah, I mean, they made the joke, Nate, that I wasn't going to make, which is that you do mean he's the most overrated quarterback that doesn't play in Chicago, right? Was that what you meant to say?
No, and you know what? I mean, obviously, my team has a history, except for Sid Luckman, of having real ass quarterbacks throughout the history.
Besmirch Eric Kramer's name like that.
Yo, Nick,
So you should trust my opinion on when I say a quarterback is overrated, to be honest with you.
Wait, yo, Nick, I have a question. Who had a better half of football than Josh Allen has had the entire year? I'll wait on that one. But yeah, at the beginning of the year I had Daniel Jones possibly being in the MVP conversation. No way in hell is that going to happen. But yeah, Daniel Jones played a better half of football than Josh Allen has played all year.
Ooh, hey guys, it's Anthony Richardson's league. Once he figures out how to play one full game, look out, man. You guys just whew.
Hang on, Nick. Let me just pull something up real quick. We're gonna go to yesterday's game.
The perfect game. I didn't get to catch it, so I'm just loving this.
I was wrong
here.
Josh Allen did have a good game yesterday. I thought he threw an interception, but he didn't. That's on me. But
oh man, this is fun. I'm loving, dude. Chat, you guys make.
When the Giants are down 20-0, it's you guys suck. The Cardinals are so bad, and then when we come back, it's like, the Cardinals are bad. You should have won. It's a football team, and they play in the NFL, so not every game's guaranteed.
Here's another hot take too, and this will make John happy. I would take Kirk Cousins over Josh Allen and not feel bad about it.
I don't think that's ridiculous to say that if you look at how the stats line up.
Better get that, cash that in, Michael.
But we'll move on from the Bills. I don't think we really have to talk Texans-Jaguars. I think Jaguars 9.5 and money line.
I don't know, man. Like the Texans, even, I know they're bad, but they have had the Jags number in the past. So I think they looked a little bit better in the second half. So I would take the Jags with the money line or with the spread. But I don't think this game will be as bad as people think it will be.
Yep. I think it'll be right around 10-point win for the Jaguars. That's why I say 9.5. I think adding Calvin Ridley to that offense makes them incredibly more dangerous because you have another guy who can easily beat a coverage, along with Christian Kirk, who a lot of receivers are starting to say that they think that he's a top five wide receiver in the league. Tyreek Hill just said that on a podcast, and things like that. So he's starting to get his flowers. Evan Ingram, great tight end in the league. Yep. I just think their offense is too high powered now compared to what it was.
Yeah, Kirk eats against man. So this is weird. I have a unique perspective. My Colts have played both of these teams, so I would agree. I think Jacksonville is going to win. I think they're going to cover. I think the Texans will keep it close early on, but their problem isn't just with the fact that they have they're accepting donations from the Salvation Army for playing O-line. Their other problem is that they give their best player the ball maybe 10 times a game. Dameon Pierce just doesn't get the ball enough. And then last week, they can kind of be forgiven. They got down 14 points early and just kind of abandoned the run, as some teams do. But no, give me Jacksonville on this one. I agree with you that. And what's tough, the Colts played zone against the Jags, so Kirk did nothing, and then Zay Jones had 55 and a touchdown. And then a week later, they go up against a team that plays man, and Kirk feasts. So, yeah, they have so many weapons right now for Lawrence, and yeah, give me the Jags.
Also, Nick, even if we embarrass ourselves tonight, Josh Allen embarrassed himself with throwing 3 picks in a game, so it's all right. We'll move on to.
I love this one. A new age Rich Gannon. Oh my God, that's our farewell.
I think that I think John will like this. We're gonna move on to Chargers Vikings, and I want to hear his opinion on this in the comments because he usually keeps a level head when it comes to the Vikings. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think what to say the over is 54. I can definitely see that happening. But I don't know, because that means each team has to put up about 27 points, which can happen. We saw it with the Dolphins-Chargers game on that defense. I don't know. I think Jordan Addison will probably score a touchdown in that. I would probably take him anytime touchdown scorer because most of the focus is going to be on Justin Jefferson. What's it say the spread is? I can't even see it. Oh, it's just pick
It's
one.
a pick 'em.
It's just pick one. Yeah, Vikings are slightly favored at minus 115. That's tough. That's really tough.
This is a no-win situation. No matter what, we're pissing off someone in
if
chat.
Austin Eckler is still out, give me the Vikings. But if Austin Eckler is back for that game,
I just saw something that there was no timetable for his return.
okay, so I'll take the Vikings money line in that one at minus 150.
So I would take the over and the Vikings in this one. I definitely think people put money on some passing props, for the quarterbacks, and receptions and yards are going to be definitely good. Jefferson, always take the over for Jefferson. 9 times out of 10, you will be pretty successful in that regard. I think, though, our boy Justin Herbert, though, should be happy if the Vikings win, because I think this could get Staley fired. And, a little bias here because I'm a big Boise State guy, too, aside from IU. I think Kellen Moore as that head coach would be a real good time. Justin, it's true, though. I could be down with the Chargers. I don't like the Vikings. I would never, biasly pick them. But I just think the Chargers need a change in leadership. And for that to happen, I think they need to lose this game.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Kev, do you have any thoughts?
These guys are both 0-2, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. This is a tough one, man. I would not – if you had told me before the season starts that either of these teams would start 0-3, I would have taken that bet probably. Oh, yeah, no way. They'll win one. So
the Vikings drop one to the Buccaneers, so it's like –
yeah. Oh, man.
It's rough. It's really rough to choose a team in this, so that's why – I was a little like, I don't want to give my opinion, but if I had to, I'd probably go Vikings on that. But I don't know.
You know what? Let me go against the grain. Let me bet on the social media quarterback, Justin Herbert himself, and get our Justin Herbert in the chat feeling a little fired up. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Even though, this is a good argument here. 9-point differential despite 6 fumbles. So if the Vikings can, find some stickum or maybe just invest in all new gloves. I don't know who they got to deal with, but cancel it and hold on to the football. They'll probably win. But give me the Chargers. Although take the money line because that doesn't make sense how the spread is a pick'em, but the money line you get slightly better odds, I guess. So there you go.
Mac, they might be related. We don't know.
It might be it might just be the same one and only. Maybe he really is a social media quarterback. He's in our live chat a lot.
So the next game is a game I like a lot. And obviously, I think the Lions money line has great value. I don't know why they're not minus like 350. That being said, Jared Goff didn't have the greatest game yesterday, right? Like he threw
he threw a pick, but like fantasy wise, he had a really good game.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say, the Seahawks ended up scoring like 14 points in 2 minutes, just also because of a pick six. So he did give that up. But I think he still had a really good game. This is an interesting game because, obviously the Lions have a clear-cut top quarterback compared to the Falcons there.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to take the over in this one. I'm not going to mess with the spread or the money line, but I am going to take the over just because also CJ Gardner-Johnson is probably going to be out for the rest of the year. And that Lions defense minus the line was already kind of shaky. So, they lose a pretty good piece there. I'm definitely comfortable taking the over in this game.
Yep. See, look at that, guys. Steelers Saints, they want me to cash out. We not cashing out, though. I'm telling you, we're letting it ride. Regardless of that. Oh, wait. Was that Olave touch? Yes! That means I might make $80 regardless of what happens. Hang on. Can someone in chat please tell me how many receiving yards Michael Thomas has? Oh, he was out of bounds, I think. Wait, was he? I don't know. Anyway, moving on from that. Sorry, guys. I just got a little hype there for a second. Yeah, he was out of bounds.
Michael Thomas has 55, by the way, last I saw.
Okay, and I have him at 53.5. So perfect. I just need Olave to get that ball back in the end zone. That would be appreciated. Trevor's a Chiefs fan. We can move to that Bears-Chiefs game. I mean, that's between you two if you want to hash that out, but I feel like we both know how that's going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to surprise you here. So I am going to take the Chiefs, and I'm going to take the over.
Okay.
And I might tease a little bit and take the Chiefs at minus 10.5 instead of 13.5. Or 13 or whatever that is. Sorry, I can't really read small print right now. But I think that the Bears will be able to keep it a little bit close, but they're going to have their collapse in the fourth quarter. But with the way the Chiefs have been playing for the first two games, I don't know that they necessarily are going to blow this one wide open. There's no way in hell that the Bears win, but this is going to be higher scoring and closer than people are going to think.
Okay. Yeah, no. For me, I think the Chiefs will win it pretty narrowly. Yesterday was their first game having Travis Kelce back, and he instantly scored a touchdown. So just seeing that from that perspective, we're seeing how high-powered the Chiefs offense can be too. Sky Moore with 16 fantasy points. He had himself a good game. He's on my team. That's the only reason I know. But aside from that, the Saints just ran the ball in to put it to 19-9, so we like that.
I don't, because I need a Derek Carr touchdown pass, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, I need a Olave touchdown, so that callback kind of hurt both of us. But, yeah, no, Kev, do you have any opinions on the Bears-Chiefs game? I feel like it's kind of clear-cut, but –
yeah, it's very clear cut, and I already got bit by the Chicago Bears publicly too. I picked them in my week 2 picks and was publicly chastised on Twitter for doing so. And I thought, give them a chance. They're going to bounce back. They're going to surprise some people by beating the Buccaneers. And no, that was just awful. So maybe take the under because it'll be over quickly and the Chiefs might rest some people. I don't know. Other than that, I think the Chiefs probably pretty comfortably cover the spread. I'm sorry, Nate. I'm just mad at the Bears because you guys embarrassed me in front of my friends.
I mean, you know, like
you
go ahead. Sorry, bud.
Sorry to cut you off. That Olave touchdown really hurt me because I'm only down 10 points in my league and I have a Carr Olave stack. So that would have helped me on both of those ends.
That's a burn.
I would have put the week away if I got that, but damn. I just had to text my group chat really quick. That hurt. But yeah, no. What were you gonna say, Nate? Sorry to cut you off.
So, I was gonna say, you think you're embarrassed. How about you root for the team for 30 plus years of your damn life and then get back to me?
Well, I know how that feels. I got family.
But I was going to say, to go back to Trevor's comment about taking the under, the problem with it is the Bears' defensive line is useless. I mean, they're better off playing myself, Kev, and Keebler on the defensive line there because, I mean, at least we wouldn't do any worse. They can't get pressure to save their lives.
Yeah, but I don't want to get thrown around by 6'7", 325-pound men. That's not really on my bucket list.
I can crawl under them. Put me on the end. I'll crawl under those 6'7" tackles.
And I mean, it just, again, below a 27-point playoff lead, I think I've been in more pain. I'm a Cubs fan too, so aside from 2016. I think I know more pain than you, Herbert.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about blown leads while there's Vikings fans in the chat. By the way, okay, I don't want to get.
Or if there's any Falcons fans in here, Colby, if you're in here, close your ears.
33 fucking points.
We'll go. Do we want to just speed run these last three? Cowboys, Cardinals. Cowboys minus 12.5 very easily.
Yeah, I would take that too. No problem.
And then we got the Eagles, Bucks. Eagles minus 5.5.
I'm gonna throw you a fast one here. I'm gonna take the Bucks in an upset for no reason other to be a contrarian.
Okay. I mean they've been overperforming this year, so the Eagles have been underperforming. The Buccaneers have been on a nice little hot streak. I could definitely see it, but I don't think that'll happen. Kev, what are your thoughts?
Well, according to Donovan McNabb, who for some reason thought it was a good idea to share with the world that he had a conversation with Jalen Hurts, who's only about 60 to 70% with a shoulder injury, then McNabb proceeded to say he would have called him soft if he wasn't playing. So I'll save that. We'll talk about that on another day. But because of that situation there with his injury, things just don't seem to be going incredibly well with Philly. So yeah, give me Tampa to cover the spread. They're not going to win this game, but I think they're going to make the Eagles. I've seen bad teams hang with the Eagles. I saw the Colts do it last year. Bad teams can hang with them if they're not on top of their game for 4 quarters. So, and the Buccaneers are maybe not necessarily a bad team like we thought they were going to be. So,
gotcha. And then for the last one, Rams, Bengals. The spread's only 2 because Burrow's going to be out. What do we think about that? I'm going to start it with you, Nate.
I'm honestly going to take the Rams in this one just because, and that's real unfortunate for Nick Chubb. I feel real horrible for him.
Yep.
Because that's going to be if that's the case, then that's out for the year, if not longer. I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I mean, weirdly enough, even without Kupp, they've got a high-powered offense still. I mean, the rookie, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Puka Nuka or whatever, however you say his last name. That's Kupp 2.0 right there. I mean, just look what he did. He had 20 targets in this game. I think any props involving him, just because Stafford has a history with Calvin Johnson and then Cup of force feeding people constantly. So I think your best bet in terms of some player props is to go the Puka route there. And what's wrong with the Bengals offense? I mean, they came alive a little bit, made it a little bit interesting, but their offense is just looking like they have never played football in their lives. And it's just, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, how much of it is Joe Burrow's calf, though? Because as a Colts fan, we're seeing what happens when you bring your star player back too early. They did it so that Jeff Saturday could try to keep a job he hadn't earned, and now Jonathan Taylor is still not playing. Wasn't it Jamar Chase himself who earlier in the season or before the season had said maybe Joe should just sit for the first 4 or 5 weeks? They brought him out. He hadn't played any preseason ball. He's clearly not 100%. So I don't know. I think that might be why. I don't think, because like you said, it looks like they've forgotten what they're doing. I don't think that they have, right? There hasn't been enough turnover with those skill players for them to just all of a sudden not have any chemistry, not be able to figure it out. But for this game in particular, give me the Rams. Well, I do expect the Bengals, if they play it smart this time and they let Joe Burrow get truly healthy, I think they'll make a run.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think the Rams. I have their one guy on my fantasy team, and I didn't start him, and he dropped like 28. So that kind of hurt me a little bit in my one league. But yeah, again, without Cup, they're still very high powered. Stafford was hurt. Now he's not hurt. We're seeing how good the Rams can be again. I don't put them anywhere near Super Bowl contention, but they're still a very solid team. That can win some ball games. And if the 49ers end up on a cold streak, they might be able to pull out that division. But I don't see that happening. I think the 49ers are too well-oiled of a machine to blow that. But yeah, I might even take the Rams -2. I think that's safe.
So why I feel like this is the earliest there's ever been buys, and maybe correct me, but I was so ready to go shit on the Titans just because they have ruined parlay after parlay after parlay in my life, and I'm just so sick of I might hate the Titans more than I hate the Packers. Okay, not really, but I just wanted to talk about the Titans, but like they're not even playing this week.
Yeah, that's insane to have a week 3 bye.
How much you want to talk about somebody hating somebody? How much do the Titans hate the scheduler? Or whoever else has a week 3 bye? You got to be kidding me. That's like getting your lunch break. Imagine having your lunch break every day at 10:30 a.m. and you work a 9 to 5. The first hour is going to go by a lot quicker than the next 7. That's just, who needs a bye in week 3? Except for maybe the Bengals.
Yeah. Literally only the Bengals probably need that. What? That's...
Oh, wait. Never mind. We missed it. They play the Browns this weekend. Why?
Okay,
why was
good.
That
all right. I was like,
I was looking at FanDuel just to like see if there was some lines up, and I guess because the Browns are playing right now, they don't have it up. But I was like, damn, did they have a week 3 bye already? Like,
geez. Do they play on Monday? Is that what it is?
They play.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
They play 1:00 on Sunday.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, there it is. I was going to say, come to think of it, I think James mentioned that because after the Chubb injury, he was Titans over Cleveland on Sunday. Book it, boys. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so then I can get my
you can get your rant in.
I can get my rant in here.
Yeah, no, but against the Browns, I see Titans pretty narrowly winning that game without Nick Chubb there.
Yeah, I agree.
I would still take the Browns in that one. They still have okay, thanks, Trevor. Now I feel real stupid now. I would still take take the Browns in that one. Just the Browns still have some pieces, and I think who's the Browns running backup? It's Ford, right? He's had some good runs or something like that. No, I was thinking of somebody else, but I think the Browns would still win that one. I am seriously going to stay away from that one just because, like I said, they have ruined parlay after parlay after parlay. One of the worst ones was when they one of the worst ones was when they played the Bills in 2021, maybe, where the Bills were like up. The Titans ended up taking the lead. Bills were driving down to the goal line, and I think Josh Allen fumbled it. And I had the Bills winning that game, and if they had won and held on, I would have won like $1,000. And then of course the Titans screwed up my parlay this weekend too with their come from behind overtime win, which I'm just going to stay away from all Titans games for a while just to reset the clock there.
Yeah, Trevor, I was actually just thinking that about Hunt back to Cleveland. I was looking at their roster just now, and I thought he was still on Cleveland, but I guess not. But that makes too much sense now with Chubb going down, him knowing that offense and everything.
Yep.
I would say he'll be back by next week, probably.
Yep. The Colts interviewed him, I think, twice they met with him. But, yeah, I would have to agree. This situation's too good of a fit. They already know they're fine with him. Like you said, he knows the offense. I think he'll be back soon.
Though, I think his stats last year were not very good.
They weren't, but he got a lot of goal line touches and took some touchdowns away from Nick Chubb. I had him on my fantasy team.
I mean, he might as well be 36 because he's got miles and he's old for a running back there.
Gotcha. So I was going to go into MLB bets. If anyone has any questions on those, let me know. I don't want to go game by game for those because that'll just be a little too much time, I feel like. But if you have any questions regarding those games, feel free to drop them in the comments. I can answer whatever. We got NBA starting back up in a month, so I'm really excited for that. In terms of betting, especially the first week when everyone's trying their absolute hardest, it's usually the easiest to make money. That's why I like MLB so much. NFL too. You can usually get a grasp of who's going to win. Did he just get a touchdown? Yeah, he did. Whatever. Saints still win. I have their money line. But yeah, NBA is coming back soon. NFL just started. MLB, the playoffs. I don't bet MLB playoffs because they're too shaky. Do you guys have any input on that of what you're excited for?
I pretty much avoid betting on the MLB. It's just too inconsistent day to day. Plus, I get real mad at how some of the sports books do like total bases and stuff like that. So I just really avoid it, to be honest with you, because I just don't really like it, and it's too crazy.
Fair.
I will say right now I'm a little depressed as a baseball fan because the Cubs haven't won a game in about a week. They've lost 5 straight. So last night, to make myself feel better, I watched the 2016 Game 7 replay, just the 10th inning, not the whole thing. I didn't have 2 hours or 5 hours, however long it was. But yeah, so I right now I'm kind of locked in on fantasy baseball. I don't know about you, Nate, but I'm in the playoffs right now for fantasy baseball. So I might have some takes on some players to look at the next time we dive in. But as far as matchups wise, game wise, or money line spreads, I'll actually be learning from you on that, Keebler, because I have not bet much on MLB. When we get to hoops time, now that's where we'll be able to have a lot of fun because we'll be able to give you some in-depth, at least again, because I do if I do bet on a sport, I really like to bet props. So
Yeah.
I know I'll have a lot of takes on who's going to get 8 rebounds in this game, or who I think has a really makeable 3-point number for the game, stuff like that. But baseball wise, I'll probably just be here to help pull up the comments and ask that you take it easy on the Cubs, or you can shit on them, because that's what I would do.
Cody Bellinger's him. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, he is. They probably should have traded him instead of having this mediocre run where they might miss the playoffs and he can go sign anywhere he wants. But, at least he's got a record now. He's a 25-20 guy or something. That's great. At least he's in our history book, so I'll always have that.
Solid. Very solid. All right, so do you guys have anything else you want to talk about, or you want to call it there?
Well, if you, I can give a few NASCAR picks here if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
For it and put it on the screen there.
The money man.
I don't know anything about NASCAR, so I might just tail whatever you say and throw a few bucks on it.
So if you don't mind searching sports there and see what they got up, because sometimes the books, especially earlier in the week, they won't have like they won't weirdly enough have you have to go to auto. It's all the way at near the top there. So go to I guess they don't have those. Interesting. See what they got for the Xfinity series, because I'm really curious. I guess would have to try Truck Series, because like at this point, like in my opinion, in my opinion, betting on the championship now, like it's not really worthwhile in my opinion, just because they're down to the nitty gritty. Well, he's been long gone there, Herbert. So you're you're a little out of luck there, man. But see, that's the one thing is like early in the week they never have like the specific race, and then they take until like Thursday or Friday to do head-to-head matchups, which is always kind of annoying. But to me, like doing head-to-heads or where you make your money really. But just off the cuff, some interesting picks for the weekend. Toyota should be good. Gordon's also been long gone, dude. Where have you been?
I can tell Justin Herbert stopped watching NASCAR right around the same time I did, I think, before I picked it back up because of Nate.
Some of the good interesting picks for the weekend. You got the usual suspects, guys like Denny Hamlin and I don't know why I was forgetting his name. Kyle Larson would be two really good picks. Toyotas are a good pick as well. So guys like Tyler Reddick won the race last year, and he's in a 2311 now. Also Martin Truex Jr. would be a good pick. But really it's some interesting picks you can get out of, like, for example, last year for the Daytona summer race, there was a guy that ended up winning almost $1 million in a head-to-head or top 10 parlay because that race was wacky. So you can make some real money out of those picks. But unfortunately, they don't have anything up as of now.
Gotcha. All right. So we'll call it there. All right. So thank you, everyone who tuned into the podcast. I really appreciate it. This was a very, very good first live show, and I hope that you guys all come back. If you want to find me and where I'm at, you can find me two places. One, the Nick Stop on Twitter, and then let me stop sharing my screen so that way you can see us a little better. There we go. So, you can find me at the Nick Stop right here, or you can find me at SB Junkies _pod on Twitter. That's the one that I made for this podcast. Any follows are really appreciated. Any support goes a long way, and we would really appreciate it. Kev, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at KevNevic _. That's also where you can find me on Instagram. And I do have a Facebook page, but it's all, Twitter's probably the best place to find me. Bite Size Sports Twitter as well. We would love a follow. If you could like and subscribe while you're here too, that'd be great. But follow would be really appreciated on our Twitter feed. That's @bite_size sports. And other than that, catch our pay-per-views, Carnage Media. If you want to follow that on Twitter, it's @Carnage Media PPV. We do at least one pay-per-view a month, usually 3 to 4. So kickboxing, boxing, mixed martial arts. One of our fighters and promoters, one Dylan Budka, just signed a contract with Dana White. He's officially a UFC fighter. So we got some big names coming through the ranks. So be sure to check that out. We just got an interview hot off the presses. So thank you guys so much, though, for coming. That chat is wild, dude. I think we're well over 100 chats. So thank you guys so much, especially those of you still here right now, watching all the way through to our social reads at the end. Y'all are the realest ones right here.
One thing I did forget to mention, one more place you can find me is tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. Nick, John, and I will be on the Necessary Roughness podcast on this channel, talking all week 2 recap, our opinions on everything. One shout out I do want to give is to Backyard Mac. I watch him all the time on Whatnot. If you ever want to get into sports cards or anything like that, get into breaks, go on Whatnot and go to Backyard Hits. And then that's where you can find him to get great deals on sports cards and things like that. Nate, if we want to find you, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me sulking in the corner over the state of the Bears, or you can find me next weekend at Talladega. But before we head off here, I just want to say, like, that Mac guys, with how small the picture is when you pull up the comment, I thought that was Mr. Beast for a second. So it's like, Jesus Christ, is Mr. Beast talking to us here? But it's obviously not. So,
All right. Well, I think that concludes the end of the podcast. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow on socials, whatever you want to do. Like I said at the beginning, if you guys don't have a Caesars Sportsbook account and would like to get one, they're having a new user promotion for betting $50 and getting $250 in free bets. My invite link is down below. Again, we really appreciate you guys, and we look forward to seeing you Monday at either 7 Eastern or 9 Eastern next Monday. Thank you, and take care.